What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Only One KDB, and I'm back with another video. On today's video, we got why WWE wrestlers don't look cool anymore. Now, wrestlers back in the day, they did look cool. They used to have like, I don't know, I was about to make up some shit. What do you mean wrestlers don't look cool no more? What did they used to wear back in the day? Maybe I got like, my memory like not up to par. But I don't remember what wrestlers used to wear back in the day that was like so special. But we about to hear, we here to find out, man. Shout out to Wrestle Mafia, man. We about to get to the video. Make sure y'all smash that like button for your boy. Let's get to it.
Who grew up in the 90s or 2000s, I'm sure you remember watching these.
Hold on, they finna talk about the 90s and the 2000s. I wasn't born. I was born in 2002. I'm a 2002 baby, so I don't know about the 90s and all that. I don't know what happened.
If you're someone who grew up in the 90s or 2000s, I'm sure you remember watching these absolute titans like The Undertaker, The Rock,
hit me some more,
Triple H, and other legends walk down that ramp and being completely mesmerized. These weren't just performers. They were gods walking among mortals. And I'm not just talking about the main eventers. Everyone from the main event to mid-card to the undercard had a unique presence, a special aura that felt untouchable and dangerous. They felt different from your average guy next door. Stone Cold looked like he could beat you senseless in a parking lot.
Nah,
He
for
looked
real.
like he'd set you on fire if you even looked in his direction. Guys like Lesnar, Batista, and Angle had this raw, superhuman energy that made you believe they were real-life superheroes. But when you watch WWE today, you barely see any superstars who have that larger-than-life special aura, that magnetic energy, that unique appeal that separated them from normal people. Apart from some special exceptions like Roman Reigns, 90% of the roster just feels like regular people in wrestling gear playing characters instead of living the character. So what happened to the mystique? What happened to the larger-than-life presence that made wrestlers feel special? Why did they stop looking like warriors and start looking like fitness influencers? Well, he's been a wrestling fan for around 3 decades and has witnessed this transformation firsthand. I can tell you it wasn't an accident. It was systematic. It was calculated. And it stripped away everything that made wrestlers feel mythical. Here are the 3 key reasons why WWE wrestlers don't look cool anymore.
Okay. Chapter 1.
Let's get the obvious elephant out of the room first. Steroids are a major factor that wrestlers relied on in the 90s and early 2000s to achieve that superhuman look.
Batista was on steroids. I knew it. I fucking knew it. I knew it. I knew. When I seen him have shoulders on top of shoulders, I said, yeah, something up. I already knew it was something up. Because there ain't no way in the world you was in that gym lifting that much to have shoulders on top of shoulders. He got shoulders on top of shoulders, chat. Look at him.
Wrestlers relied on in the
Look at
90s
Batista.
and early 2000s to...
Look at his shoulders. He have shoulders on top of his shoulders. When have you ever seen some shit like this? Man, this is crazy. I ain't gonna lie. Batista, he was one of them ones though. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, man, I will always wonder how he got that strong. I'm not bullshitting because I'm like, man, ain't no way the weight room did that to you.
That superhuman look. Stars like Hulk Hogan, Macho Man Randy Savage, and many modern-day legends like Triple H and Batista use the special sauce to transform themselves into walking comic book characters with mountains of muscle. And it wasn't just the guys on top of the card. Even mid-carders like Maven had to put on a few extra pounds of muscle and gain an intimidating frame just to survive in that landscape. This chemical enhancement gave stars an otherworldly physique that made them godlike compared to the average man. You looked at these guys and thought, there's no way that's natural. And you were right. But that impossibility was the point. Wrestling was about larger-than-life characters, and larger-than-life characters needed larger-than-life bodies. However, everything changed after the steroid scandals of the early 90s rocked the foundation of sports entertainment. Vince McMahon himself went on trial. The company's reputation hung by a thread. Though steroid usage became less prevalent, the stars of the early 2000s still had access to gear and could hop on the sauce to transform their physique. However, the real wake-up call came with the tragic deaths of Eddie Guerrero in 2005 and Chris Benoit in 2007. Both these cases were linked, in part, to decades of steroid abuse and the culture that enabled it. This time, WWE had no choice but to tighten the noose. Wellness policies became stricter. Testing became the norm. The days of walking pharmacy cabinets stepping through the ropes were officially over. Stars pivoted
Pharmacy
toward a more lean,
cabinets is
athletic
crazy.
look that prioritizes conditioning and performance over raw muscle mass. Jey Uso
Yeet,
and
yeet,
many other top
yeet,
performers,
yeet,
they look
yeet.
like athletes and CrossFit trainers with good genetics and disciplined diets, instead of superheroes who could rip you apart. Apart from names like LA Knight, Jacob Fatu, and a few others who already had that
Yo, I'm not gonna lie, this kind of off topic, but is LA Knight a movie star? Because for the longest, I swear, I thought LA Knight was some celebrity that they just let wrestle for a couple of matches. I didn't know he was actually a wrestler. Is LA Knight a movie star or he a wrestler? Did he come from like the movie scene and all that stuff? Because I swear up and down, I did not know he was an actual wrestler. I thought he came from Hollywood or some shit. I thought he was a movie director or a movie star or something like that. I did not know he was a real wrestler. But let's continue. Shout out to Ronda Rousey, man. Ronda Rousey never coming back to the WWE. If you know, you know.
frame before signing with WWE. Most stars today look like they could be your personal trainer rather than a warrior in the ring. However, even today, after the steroid crackdown, you can still see guys like AJ Styles and Randy Orton carrying a more jacked look thanks to some carefully managed supplementation and access to the special sauce. But steroids and beefy bodies aren't the only culprit here.
Wrestle Mafia, why you speaking in code? You talking about special? What is the special sauce? Can anybody tell me the special sauce? I don't know. And Brock Lesnar, I thought Brock Lesnar was banned from the WWE. How did he make a return on pay-per-view? Nobody still explained that to me. How did Brock Lesnar return? I thought he was banned. Y'all remember when the allegations came out? They wiped Brock Lesnar clean off the WWE. They was deleting stuff with him on it. They was no longer showing his picture. Like, he was wiped completely from the WWE. Now out of nowhere, he returned all of a sudden. How did he come back in? Somebody gotta let me know, man.
In fact, they're less than 20% of the problem. These next two factors are a much bigger disease that silently killed wrestling's mystique over time. And unlike steroids, these problems didn't get caught. They got worse.
Chapter 2.
Don't know about you, but where I grew up, the kids in our town had this genuine belief that the Undertaker was actually a supernatural being, a dead man walking among the living. We were fully sold on the fact that he could control lightning, summon flames, and had powers beyond human comprehension.
Oh
When he
my
rolled his eyes
goodness.
back and only showed the whites, we genuinely believed we were witnessing something otherworldly. Not only that, we had our own conspiracy theories that Taker actually lived in a cemetery, that he slept in a coffin, that Paul Bearer was his actual mortician. Such was the character work and the lengths wrestlers went to protect kayfabe back then. Even today, when you see Taker on interviews and podcasts talking like a normal human being from Texas, you feel something strange, like you're watching something you shouldn't be seeing. Mark Calloway discussing his motorcycle hobby feels like a violation of something sacred. That's how sacred the art of kayfabe was back in the day. Today's broadcast their entire lives all over social media. The discipline of protecting kayfabe is almost non-existent, and the magic dies in real...
Oh, that's where the mystique went. Like, that's where the mystique went away at. Cause like now we in the social media age. See, back then they was like more in tune and more like connected with their own character, because it wasn't no social media. It wasn't no, oh, this person is playing a role, and like that this person character is different from they like in real life human self. So it's like you'll have somebody playing a character on WWE one moment, and then the next moment you see them on Instagram at the beach smiling. Like, bro, ain't nothing funny right now. You just lost your title, and you're supposed to be a mean motherfucker. Yeah, your role is to be playing somebody mean and dangerous, and you're supposed to be angry all the time and not talk and be just some dark human. But yet you on the beach smiling. So that's where the mystique got lost at, because we in a social media age and everybody record their life and everybody like take pictures. It's social media, man. It ruined it. It ruined a lot of stuff.
Apart from a few names like Drew McIntyre and MJF, the art of staying in character is completely dead. You have stars going on interviews and podcasts spilling all the backstage secrets. Someone like Seth Rollins will go on Logan Paul's podcast and casually discuss how they're planning his next storyline. Cody Rhodes posts Instagram stories from backstage, laughing with the same guys he's supposed to hate on television. The recent WWE Unreal series on Netflix, where they pulled back the curtain and showed behind-the-scenes footage of WWE programming, showed exactly how manufactured everything really is. Wrestlers breaking character, planning the finish of their matches, laughing about their feuds, discussing their relationships while in full gear. It's like a magician explaining exactly how every trick works while he's performing.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying that wrestlers need to live their gimmicks 24/7 like they did in the territorial days. That was unsustainable and probably unhealthy. But if you're constantly reminding people that this is all pretend, that these characters are just roles you're playing, that you're actually best friends with your enemies backstage, there's no way to take any storyline seriously or see these stars as larger-than-life figures. When The Rock was feuding with Stone Cold, you never saw them hanging out at Starbucks together on TMZ.
I'll whip your ass too.
When Kane was terrorizing the roster, you didn't see Glenn Jacobs posting TikToks about his day job as a politician. When John Cena and Edge were ruining each other's lives, you didn't see them casually going on podcasts and revealing all the details. The characters existed in their own universe, and that universe felt real because the performers protected it. Today's wrestlers treat their characters like costumes they put on for a few hours and then immediately take off. They're actors playing roles, not warriors living their truth. You have stars like Rhea Ripley and Chelsea Green pandering to fans on social media instead of protecting their character. Even the male stars will flip their opinion at the drop of a hat.
Damn, they can't they can't show love to the fans? I mean, I do get what you're saying though, because it would be more entertaining and it would be more interesting if they did stay in character 24/7 and we didn't know the behind the scenes and them being friends in real life, but they get in front of the camera and they act like they hate each other. So it do take away the mystique and the aura that the wrestlers had back in the 90s and the early 2000s. So I do get what you're saying, but because I was always thinking that, like, if I was ever a wrestler, I would want to stay in character. Like, I wouldn't want people to know that I'm really friends with these people behind the scenes and stuff like that. Like, that's what Undertaker said. He said, like, he used to stay in character 24/7, and even when he was out in public. Like, he always protected his character, man. So, kudos to the Undertaker, man. That's why he won of one.
In with the mob and be politically correct. There's a certain lack of backbone, a deficiency in sticking to one's character and being defiant that separated wrestlers of the 2000s from the social media cosplayers of today. And this lack of kayfabe ties into the next key factor that's been slowly poisoning wrestling's well for over a decade.
Chapter 3.
Remember when Randy Orton handcuffed Triple H to the ropes and kissed Stephanie McMahon right in front of him? The rage, the helplessness, the fury in Triple H's eyes? Remember how Triple H broke into Randy's home to destroy his family as revenge? Or how about when Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio battled for the custody of Dominic? Back in the 90s and 2000s, WWE stories were constructed in a way that positioned stars as complex human beings with real motivations, real pain, real desires. Stories that allowed them to transcend the basic framework of championships and rankings and wins and losses. Stories that added a personal layer to the character that made you invested in their journey as a person, not just a performer. You wanted to see Jeff Hardy overcome his battles with addiction and self-doubt because his struggle felt real. His demons were visible. His redemption mattered. You could feel Shawn Michaels' desperation when he failed to win the Royal Rumble in 2010. And he couldn't challenge Undertaker's streak at WrestleMania 26. It felt like the end of a man's identity, his purpose, his entire world. You could rally behind Stone Cold when he declared war on Vince McMahon and the corporate machine because every working person understood that rage, that feeling of being stepped on by the boss, of wanting to fight back against the system. The stars had depth. They had layers. They had reasons to fight that went beyond winning a title. Today's wrestlers get a few generic catchphrases and entrance themes that sound like elevator music, and that's supposed to be enough. Every star just wants to prove they're the best.
Why are you disrespecting y'all like that? He basically saying y'all watered down the WWE. I'm gonna say it in the most disrespectful way possible, cause he being that. Well, he ain't even being nice. He being he telling y'all the God honest truth, man. He basically saying y'all watered it down, and y'all need to do better, man. Y'all need to do better. No more social media, no more TMZ. You out at the beach with the person you supposed to be in the feud with on WWE Monday Night Raw. We don't want to see none of that. We want to see y'all really into it. We don't want to see no behind the scenes, y'all laughing and kikiing backstage and none of that. We don't want to see it. So that's really what took away the mystique, man. Y'all got to get back in tune with y'all character. No more Instagram posts you smiling at the beach. Ain't nothing funny right now. You just lost your title last night. Come on now. What's funny? So I do get what he's saying.
And want titles. That's it. That's the entire motivation for 90% of the roster. Rarely any personal stories. Rarely any emotional investment. It's all about who's the better technical wrestler. And as I said, that doesn't do anything to get fans interested when you don't even maintain kayfabe in the first place. The last truly personal story in the WWE was Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk, but even that was a one-off thing. From 1998 to around 2010, you would have at least 3 of these personal stories going on at the same time. Multiple layers of human drama unfolding simultaneously. Every show felt must-see because you were invested in these people as characters, not just as athletes competing for prizes. The presentation of these stars, their aura, that larger-than-life mystique made them feel special, and that's what drew you in. The stories kept you hooked. Today, that emotional core has been stripped away. It has been sanitized by corporate committees. The passion has been focus grouped out of existence. The personal stakes have been replaced by professional accomplishments. The human drama has been substituted with athletic competition. And when you combine bland stories with broken kayfabe and smaller physiques, you get exactly what we have now. A roster full of talented performers who feel completely ordinary, replaceable, forgettable. Athletic performers with great technical skills and zero charisma. Wrestlers who look like your CrossFit trainer, act like your coworker, and fight for the same generic reasons as everyone else on the roster. The irony is brutal. WWE has never been more polished, more professional, more technically sound than it is today. The production values are incredible. The in-ring work is better than it's ever been. But something died in the pursuit of that perfection. That raw, unpredictable energy that made wrestling feel alive. That larger-than-life presence that made you believe you were watching something special, something dangerous, something real. Now it feels safe, sanitized, corporate. And the saddest part? Most fans have accepted this as evolution. They've convinced themselves that this is just wrestling growing up, becoming more mature, more sophisticated. But sophistication without soul is just emptiness dressed up in fancy clothes. The wrestlers today aren't worse people than the legends of the past. They're not less talented. Heck, most of them are probably better athletes, but they exist in a system that actively works against everything that once made wrestling magical. Until WWE remembers that wrestling isn't just about athletic competition, until they understand that people don't just want to see good matches, they want to believe in larger-than-life characters fighting for something that matters, we're going to keep getting more of the same. More talented performers who nobody remembers.
Wow. More talented performers who nobody remembers. That was a deep line right there. I ain't gonna lie. But we about to get out of here. If y'all enjoyed that reaction video, make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. What y'all think went wrong in the WWE, man? Y'all think the WWE is watered down now? Maybe they need to add me. So I'm going to bring WWE back for y'all. All you got to do is hit up Triple H on his email and tell him only one KDB would like to wrestle. Yeah, just let him know. And I'm going to bring WWE back for y'all. I'm going to stay in character. You ain't going to see me on Instagram laughing and kikiing with somebody I'm into it with in the ring. You ain't going to see that from me. So, just make sure y'all get at me, man. Triple H, I'm telling you, man, I'll bring WWE back for you. I ain't got no problem with it, man. Just hit me up, call me, and I'll be on the first flight there. Just let me know. But I'm about to get out of here. Make sure y'all smash that like button, and I'm out of here.